weeks. To be honest, the reason why I wasn't here is because I really didn't have any ingredients, and just getting ingredients into the house to consume was tough enough. But before I begin today, I want to thank the people that did send me emails to ask me if I was okay. That was really, really sweet. I know I've thanked you via email, but I appreciate that. And when I think of that, a lot of people do know that I live alone, but it's so important at this time, in our country to do talk to people that, live alone, make sure they're okay. I know I make an effort to do that. I've got some neighbors that are single and so forth, so I always make sure I give them a call and everything. But I do want to thank you. Now, there's been some silly, silly postings, online. You see, silly things about, there'll be babies and abundance of babies in 9 months. You see, divorces. You see all kinds of silly things. Well, one thing that really makes me laugh and really is true, and it could happen, that we're going to see a lot of people that have put on, a lot of weight. It is so important right now, and I can't stress to you enough, is to keep your immune system up. As you know, everything I cook, it's all about the immune system. And as you know, I've had cancer so much, and I truly believe that I'm still here because of the way that, that I eat. So please, eat healthy. It's very, very important, and try not to put on weight, and make sure you get out there and exercise. What else did I want to tell you before we began? Well, first of all, let me get the burners going. What we're going to do today is we're going to do a kale soup. Now, I don't want anybody to turn me off because I'm doing kale, because there's so many people that don't like kale. Kale is very, very good if cooked right. Now, when you've gone to a restaurant and all of a sudden, at a restaurant, you might order a kale salad, think, I want to be good, so I'm going to get order a kale salad. And it tastes awful. The reason being, kale has to be massaged if you're going to be eating it raw. It has to be massaged either with lemon juice, with honey, something like that. As a matter of fact, if you buy the kale, you get it all washed up clean. And the other thing too is cut small pieces. You can massage it, you can put lemon juice on it and so forth. Put it in the refrigerator for a couple days if you want. Then make your salad with it. But like I said, it's so important, that it has to be massaged. If you've never eaten kale before, I really want you to try this soup that we're making. It's something I concocted, just a couple of weeks ago, and I love it to the point where I've made it several times now and have given it, given it away. But it's really, really simple. Very few ingredients. A little bit of oil in the pan, onions, garlic, broth, kale, Cannellini Beans, and of course I forgot the meat. So let's get going with that. And like I say, I really, really do hope you try it, because it is really healthy. So first of all, this is getting hot. First of all, I'm going to put in my my onions. Now this is, believe it or not, look how much is there. This is one onion. It was a large onion. I obviously cut it before I turned on the camera, and I had to wait a while because it was so strong and my eyes were burning so bad. So, but in here we have, one nice onion that we want to soften up. We'll get this soft. And remember, I tell you all the time about onions, how good they are for you. It helps to block the substances that can cause cancer. And that's what you want. It helps to block the carcinogens that that go into the cell. So you want that. There's a little piece of, looks like a little piece of the skin from the onion. But anyway, so let's get these softened up here. Take a minute or two. But I talk about walking too, and I think the walking is so important, or anything, any kind of exercise. you know, a couple of days we had some really bad weather. So, and I wasn't going out in that bad weather. The dampness at my age, it doesn't work with the body. But anyway, so I actually went to my basement. And I walked around my basement 30 to 50 times, just in a great big circle. And then I just walked up and down my stairs several times. But we got to keep the body, you know, we got to keep the body moving. That helps too with the immune system. So, and I hope everyone's taking the curcumin that I highly recommend, and they're taking their, you know, green tea and following, you know, the nutrient schedule that I have given you, you know, several times. So make sure you're doing that. It's like I worry about everybody, you know. My kids are really good. I guess because I preach a lot, but my kids are really good about, you know, eating well as well, because they know and they can see by what I have done to take care of my cancer. It's kind of funny. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, none of us know what's going to happen. But I had my oncologist appointment over the phone, which is kind of funny. I had my internist appointment over the phone. My internist, it was really, before I finish my story, I'm putting in garlic now. I got a bunch of garlic here. Put in as much as you like. So put your garlic in and get that, you know, cooking with this. But anyway, so she called me, my internist, and I had a great conversation with her, and I really enjoyed it, the fact that she, you know, took the time to call. But she just wanted to make sure that I had canceled my appointment with her. Well, there was no way I was going to be going in. But, you know, talking to her, and from her viewpoint, she said something that I can't get off my mind. You know, she said to me that she really doesn't think this whole thing will come to a, you know, come to a head until August. And then, of course, it's scary because then news media, whatever, they're saying it can come back again in the fall. So it's so important. I know I'm repetitious, but your immune system will keep you alive. Your immune system will help you. You know, if you've got a low immune system, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you have underlying conditions or not. If you've got a bad immune system, you're going to catch this virus, because there's a lot of people out there that are not taking it seriously enough. And who knows, they could be walking around with it, and, you know, you could just be in the path. I'm going to add a little salt to my onions here and my garlic, because the broth actually I'm using is, I always buy, if I buy it, and which I had to buy it this time because I didn't have any chickens and I didn't have any homemade broth, but I'm using the low sodium, so it does need the, you know, it does need the extra salt. Now, those are doing well. We'll give them another minute or two. And while I'm giving those another minute or two, got to go to the refrigerator to get my meat. So, that, one moment. Okay, I grabbed my meat. What I have here is I have a pound of grass-fed beef. You can use ground turkey, ground chicken, whatever you like. But in this particular soup here, I really do like the beef. I have a pound, but I'm not going to use a pound. I'm only going to use a half a pound. I'm going to put it in here. And we really want to break it up. Here, let me get this off here. So, really want to get it broken up. So there's about a half a pound in here. And then we'll put this in the freezer. Put it in the freezer later. So here, we really want to chop this ground meat up. We don't want big chunks or anything like that. Just small little chunks. Barely know that it's, you know, that it's in here. So this is kind of a pain in the neck to chop it up really small like this, but the onions kind of help, you know, when you're doing it. But get it chopped up really small. Okay, the meat is looking good. Looks like it's chopped enough for us. I might add another little dash of salt. You know, they always say you should, you know, salt or season rather your layers. So here we go. Now, I mean, you're going to be so surprised how fast this is. And after you make it the first time, then the second batch you make a lot of it, and then freeze it. So we're going to put our broth here. Actually, this time, because I couldn't get broth, I have stock. I don't have the broth. And the stock doesn't have as much flavor as your broth. So you really got to season it a little more when you're using the stock. At least that's what I find. That's what I find when I'm when I'm using it. But it's certainly up to you. Now we want to bring this back to a boil. So let's put that back up there. And then I'm going to put in basil, maybe a little handful of basil like that. And then I'm going to put in my favorite, which is thyme. Of course, as you know too, oregano is my favorite, one of my favorites. And another a little handful of the thyme, in there to add some flavor. And I haven't put in any pepper yet, so let's give it a little pepper. All right, we're going to bring this to a boil. Then we're going to try not to spill it like I just did. Dirty up my stove. That doesn't make me happy. I want to show you something while we're waiting for this to boil. Different people will tell you different ways to get this rib off. But this is so important to get the rib off this kale and get it off completely. That's one thing that I believe that, people don't care. It's hard to chew. It's hard to chew and it has a bitter taste and everything. But if you hold it, kind of like upside down like this, and you don't just pull this rib off, because it doesn't completely come off when you pull it. I recommend you take it off, you take the pieces off like this, and just hold them in your hand with each rib like this, and you get that rib out completely. You can even hear, see how tough it sounds, But you can get this rib off completely, and that's what I would do. I will tell you, because of the situation out there, right now, and when you're buying things, you're concerned about, any kind of germs or anything in it. I did wash this about 5 times. And then the other thing that I do too is, see how big this is? Like if you get a salad, sometimes they'll be leaving big pieces like this, Forget that. I chop it up very, 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 very small. You'll see I have a big bowl of it here right now. All of this is not going to go into the soup because it won't fit. But I can use it for salads and so forth. And you'll see, I really have, small pieces, but, it's hard to eat when they're so big and they're in the soup like that. It's like sloppy eating or whatever else. So let's see, this should be coming to a boil pretty soon. But even right at this time, while we're waiting for this to come to a boil, I can put in my tomato paste. I like buying these. These are really like godsends, when you need just a little. I'm just going to put in a couple of tablespoons, but I have some nice organic tomato paste here that I like. And I'm going to put a little bit of this in. So, in goes a couple tablespoons of tomato paste. Those of you who've been watching me, you'll notice I switched over to my stove instead of the small burners that I usually use. I thought, well, I'll give this a try, because no matter what I do, it's kind of hard for me to see. If I had a cameraman, they could go into the product that I'm making, that would be good. But almost give us a little more time to come to a boil. We're boiling well here. So take the hot lid off. Now we're going to put in some kale, and I can't tell you how much, because I just keep putting it in until it looks like the pan can't take anymore. So just put handfuls of your kale in. And all we want to do is wilt it. At this point, you can also turn it down a little, Whoops, I dropped a little, but that's okay. Oh, it's taking a lot of the kale, because this is going to shrink. Now, if you're really so dead against it, and you just can't convince yourself that kale is the way to go, you certainly can do this same soup with spinach. You need your magnesium. Americans don't get enough magnesium and then run into problems when they get older. You know, I promote the magnesium, you know, the spinach rather for the magnesium, and I also promote eating, as I've said many times before, eating a piece of, you know, it's looking good. All we want to do is wilt this. Now the last thing we're going to put in here, is beans, cannellini beans, just 1 can of cannellini beans. The flavors are all so good together, they really are. And then as I was saying about magnesium, I also, you know, just feel that everybody should eat, I know it, to some people they go, ooh, you know, but, you know, you can buy 95% cocoa bars of candy and so forth, and it has the big, you know, squares. Everybody should be eating a square, you know, every single day of that chocolate, and it does satisfy one of the nutrients on the list of things that I gave you that you should be eating, you know, every day. So do make sure you do that. I think, if I recall correctly, everyone has to have, I think it's somewhere in the 300 to 400 milligrams of magnesium a day. And we don't get enough of it because there's not enough foods that contain the magnesium. So unless you're eating things like spinach or something like that, you know, every day, as I do. I have spinach, as I've mentioned to you a number of times. I have spinach every morning with an egg. But I'm going to bring this back to a boil and then taste it and see if we need any salt or anything like that, and then I will serve it up. I wish you could taste it. Smells good, especially the onions and garlic. That always makes your kitchen smell really, really good. What else do I want to tell you? Let me think. Oh, you know what? I want to take a moment too, and I want to put a shout out to actually my daughter-in-law Julie and her sister Jill. They are identical twins. They are both anesthetist, plus Jill is actually a doctor. But anyway, they are in that hospital every day. And I know it's really, you know, putting a toll on my daughter-in-law. But God bless them, and God bless all those first responders. And we really have to pray for them. You know, they have families, they're worried. I worry about my daughter-in-law when she, you know, comes home because my little granddaughter gets out of bed every night and she wants to sleep with mom, you know. And anyway, we have to pray for all of them. If I know. All right, the soup is looking good. We'll give that about 5 minutes on low, and then we will serve it up. Okay, here we have a nice big bowl. I mean, this is a whole meal. You know, you don't need really anything else. And I always top it with some type of cheese. You can use then, you know, a non-dairy cheese, or you can use a regular parm, or you can use anything like that. I prefer the parm. So, you know, sprinkle your parm on top here. And then, like I say, to your liking, maybe it's like more pepper or something like that, then put that on. And now we will have our taste. You know, get yourself a few beans, a little bit of meat here, and of course some onions, and of course lots of kale. Come on, kale. Here we go. It's hot. And it really is so good. Really, try it. And once again, it's healthy. I can only say to you as I leave today is, you know, please take care of that immune system. Don't do anything stupid. Do keep that social distance, or whatever they're calling it, you know, from others. Today here in Michigan, it's a beautiful day, and I will be out there walking the golf course today. It's kind of nice to be able to walk it because the golf course is closed. No one's on it, so you know you can just walk the paths on the golf course. So, as I always say to you, I say siate felici, which is be happy. But I also say to you, please, don't take chances. Be safe. And until next Thursday or Friday, when I have the ingredients, I will see you. So bye-bye for now.